What's up, people? Hope you're doing well. I'm going to talk about a topic that I've talked many times about, but got a message from Lorenzo Santos over the weekend, and he said that he was finishing up with his latest episode of Zack Miller Says, and I thanked him for that. And what was cool is I said, hey, is there any other topics that you want or are interested in me talking about? And so he said something about competition. Then I said, cool, well, let's do it. You know, I've talked about it before. And I said, let's do it again. Whatever. Like, let's make it happen. And so here I am talking about it today. So my thoughts on competition are, I'm a super competitive person, by the way, and I love to win. I want to be the best. And, like, I don't know where it came from, but I don't like to lose. However, knowing that point, I think all too often people worry way too much about their competition. They focus way too much about what their competitors are doing. Now, I don't know why... if you think about it, society worries about others way too often. They bulk people into certain trends and industries, and I think that you need to be focused on your community. You need to be focused on your following. You need to be focused on those that are waiting for you. And so I've taken a couple of notes, which doesn't always happen, but I was thinking about what are some things that someone is directly copying from. And interesting, the company that just hit, $1 trillion, Apple is one of those companies. And so others are creating these voice home devices. Apple has their own kind of the HomePod. And I don't know if Apple, and this is just the example I'm going to give, I don't know if Apple was the pioneer of this, but somehow something got leaked and they ended up not getting it out first, or they were late to act, or whatever it is. But many people believe that Apple and their HomePod is not as amazing as some of their competitors. And what's interesting is you could look at that and say, well, they didn't pioneer it. And so to me, it's always about trying to be the pioneer. Stop focusing on what others are doing and be the pioneer. Be the one that creates an amazing opportunity. And it could be customer service, it could be a product, it could just be a service, it could be saying thank you, it could be doing so many different things. And so I have this belief that many people are worried so much about their competition that their actual customers don't get as much love. And I think that's a bad thing. So other things that you could potentially be happening, when you focus on your competition too much is, well, the emotional toll that could have on you and your business and your life, right? It could be about, just the straight up worrying on others. And really, the thing that I think is the most important thing is when you focus on others more, you worry on others more, you miss out on the opportunity to help people. You're more worried about, is my competitor doing this? Do I need to worry about that? There's rumors, I don't know if this is true, I think I've said this many times, that Burger King does not actually do any market research. They literally just go across the street from McDonald's. That's true. Makes a lot of sense. Now, there are times when I think you can look at your competitors or people in different industries to get ideas, right? The process, we talk about this a little bit in Anomaly, where it's like, look at what other businesses are doing. Like from a process perspective, I think Panera does a really good job of getting people on their website and the purchasing there. I think that they do a really good job in their actual building and getting stuff out there. And then I think they've really been the pioneer in some of that. Now some other people are copying that as well. And so I think from a logistics standpoint, from a process standpoint, it's okay to look at other businesses and be like, oh, how could I implement something like this in my business? But from a creative standpoint, a pioneering standpoint, you really just need to focus on, in my opinion, being the pioneer, being that person that people are constantly looking at. That's what Apple was forever. And then really just not worrying what others are doing. Focus on building an amazing following, an amazing community. And what happens at the end of the day is You have a lot of people that are raving fans that are pumped up to get your products. So if you're sitting there at home and you're like, man, and this is another thing, the jealousy bug that comes up with competition. So many people are like, oh man, so-and-so is doing this. Well, any second that you worry about that company is a second that you're wasting on them and not finding someone new. It's a second that you're wasting not providing more value to the people who are paying you or potentially could pay you, because you're wasting your time on the other competitor that really doesn't matter if you're focusing on them at all. I think all too often too, people be like, oh, this company's doing so well, so-and-so is doing great, when you have no inside knowledge of how that business is actually doing. So focus on yourself. Focus on your business, your brand, the brand that you're building, part of the team that you're building, and don't worry about these other people, because if you focus too much on those people, you're missing out seconds. Seconds turn to minutes, minutes turn to hours, days, weeks, years. Before you know it, you're being completely obliterated because you're focusing on the wrong task at hand. Don't worry about your competition. Be the pioneer. Provide amazing value to people and help them. Ask them. Spend your time on them, not your competition. Seriously, start doing it now. Peace.